I want to talk to you about debt itself. A few truths about debt. The first truth I want you to know, debt is not a sin and debt is not evil. Debt is a part of our money life cycle today. You know, I want you to know that the Lord wants us to not owe anything to anybody. But there is my view on it, and I'm going to tell you what my views on it, and you match my views up to the word view, because I'm going to tell you, at this point, I have no debt. I have had no consumer debt since 2010, and at the time of this recording, it's 2021. And then I've had no mortgage debt since 2014. So with that, I have no debt. But I can tell you, the Lord was speaking to me during the time that I did have debt. And I never got chastised by the Lord about borrowing. Now, I did get chastised about the Lord. I really just got those promptings to pay off the debt that I had. I was never chastised about borrowing. It's a part of our money life cycle. I own a home. I have a car. I have furniture. I take care of my own existence. And because I'm not naturally wealthy, I had to borrow to get those things. And I never was chastised about it. Now, for me, debt was a season. And that is my view, is that debt is a season for everybody. You're going to go through a season in which you are going to borrow to get your life together. And that season should be just that, a season, not a lifestyle of debt. Not where you go and borrow, and as soon as you get a car, and as soon as it gets time to pay it off, you go get a new car. So I can go get, so I can just have a new car. I like to have a new car all the time. If a car is the thing that you just love, you work that out with the Lord. But what's happening if you do that? You buy a house, you pay for a house for 15 years, then you say, oh, we're going to go build another house. Okay, you make sure you're talking to the Lord with that. I don't know what he has for you. But what you're setting yourself up for is a lifestyle of debt, meaning you're never going to get through debt. Every time you get close to paying it off, you go and you add more debt to it. That is a lifestyle of debt. And so that is what we are to avoid doing. So debt can be used as leverage and as a financial tool for getting your life together. So that's the Carolyn Williams money reverse view of debt. Now, we don't want to go overboard, even using debt as a tool. We still want to look at that debt to income ratio, because if you're so strapped that you can't handle one incident that happens, and if you can't even answer the call of the Lord and you can't take care of your family because of debt, there is a problem. That is where you're out of season. You're getting things probably before it is time for you to get them. Otherwise, it wouldn't be strapped. Yeah. The gifts of the Lord come with no sorrow added. The gifts and the favor of the Lord come with no sorrow added. You say the Lord is blessing me with this, but if you have sorrow in getting it paid, I'm not saying the Lord didn't bless you with it. I'm just going to say you have to answer that question. So if that makes any sense, and if you have any questions about that, I just want to be very clear. Just type them in the comments. I just want to be very clear on the Carolyn Williams money reverse view of debt. And so with that, again, debt is not a sin. It's not evil, but it is going to negatively affect how you live your life today, that God has called you to walk in freedom. And you are not in freedom, not because the Lord didn't bring freedom to you, it's because you've gone ahead and gotten yourself in bondage. Debt is not anything that anybody does to you. We do it to ourselves, right? Debt is not done to you. I signed every piece of paper that had my debt on it. Every single piece of paper, I signed it, and I was smiling when I signed it, I'm sure. So with that, some practical truths that I want you to know about debt. I want to just tell you some of what the word says about debt. The writing's on the wall. Let's take a look, the upper left-hand corner. The rich rules over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender. That's Proverbs 22:7. Going to the right. Owe no one anything except to love one another. He who loves another has fulfilled the law. That's Romans chapter 13, verse 8. Back to the left. You are bought with a price. Do not become slaves of men. 1 Corinthians 7 and 23. The wicked borrows and does not repay, but the righteous shows mercy and gives. That's Psalms 37 and 21. And then Deuteronomy 15 and 6. It says, for the Lord your God will bless you just as he promised you. You shall lend to many nations, but you shall not borrow. You shall reign over many nations, and they shall not reign over you. Again, that is a promise that the Lord has given us. So he has this promise for us. We just have to make sure that we don't throw the promise away and go and do something that puts us in a situation where these will not be true for us in our lives. We're living to follow the word. We're living to serve him.